So that was it. So the point of contact was the Italian ambassador in Cuba. That was the point of contact, was his cell. Now, the way spies work is you have different separate cells that don't know each other. They have a central point of contact, and he's the one that then sends information to the outside world. The Italian ambassadors were the ones in Havana where the spies, sending to the city. The last ambassador in 1964 was a leftist. So when he took over there, the entire cell that the Italians were in charge of was compromised. And a few months later, he was arrested. My father was arrested and served 12 years in prison, from 1965 to 1978. He was torturing me. I remember my mother taking me to see him. He had bruises and browns all over his face. I remember and they said what they used to do is, there's an island in the south that's called Isla de Pino. And they had this round circular jails that had no walls. So in the nighttime, when things got very cold, they would put them outside naked. And then the guards would come over with batons and beat them. So then they will trying to get away from the guards and push against a wall, and then the guys against the wall getting crushed because the guys in the back trying to get away from the line of officers. So he endured that, he survived for that. Meanwhile, I'm outside. My mother had to become the breadwinner because my father's in jail. The company doesn't work. So she became, she was an accountant. She was working in all kinds of businesses. And during that, he was a political prisoner. Because over there, you're up and running. If you're against the government, they'll make your life a living hell. In every block, also, there is what is called Comité de Defensa de la Revolución. Committees for the Defense of the Revolution. So government snitches. The same thing is all in China. They're watching what all the citizens are doing. And they will send a report to the General Communist Committee every week. These people are doing this, these people are doing that, these people visited. If you have somebody coming over from another province, another family, you have to go and tell them they were coming over. The reason for that is every revolution needs people to get together and have meetings. So if you can't get together without the government knowing, you can make a revolution. So they get into your life to find out what you're doing in your house. If we had a birthday party, we had to go and tell them how many guests were coming, who was coming, names of the guests, so they could keep tabs of what was going on in this household. In the school system, from kindergarten up, I had to study Karl Marx, Lenin. I had to pledge allegiance to Che Guevara. I had to do all that. And that's the communist system. Over there, when you go to the class, you don't go like over here, you go to a homeroom and you need your homeroom buddies and all that. Everybody formed outside the school, salute the flag, salute, praise Castro, praise Che Guevara, singing the international, the Marxist stuff and all that. And then half the day will be Marxists and Leninists. If you wanted to move, so you didn't want to live in your house anymore, there was no private property. The last few years they have eased up a little bit because they realized in the late 1990s after the Soviet Union collapsed, the socialism communism doesn't work. So they eased up on the economy a little bit. But this is 1970s, 1980s. If you wanted to move your house, you have to go again to the local Communist Party, tell them that you wanted to move and get approval from them. And then you had to find another family that was where you wanted to go and get them to move and switch house with you. And get approval from the G2 for the committee. So that was the way it was lived. In school, I remember they made me like living hell because my father was a political person. And I endured it. I remember it. I remember kids beating me up because he's the son of the prisoner. And the teachers watched him. So my revenge was to be A1 at the student. And actually, sometimes what would happen is I was getting the award kind of like this in front of the whole school because I'm getting A's and all that. And they would call my mother and I told him why they were calling him to come over to the school right away. Now, I had asthma. If you look at the pictures that I have, I was 5'10" and I weighed 80 pounds. I was literally not. I had a very asthma condition. They were telling my mother, if he stays here, he's not. So she would be running to the school. What happened? Here I am, getting awards to belong to this one, and the ones that were beating me would look at them and there you go. So in 1980, when my father was released in 78, there was a deal between President Carter and Castro. And Carter gave him some buses or something, and he released prisoners. And out of there, he came out and he was released. Now, he couldn't get a job. In the communist system, if you're a political prisoner or you're against the government, they make your life a living hell. He would go to interviews and tell, oh yeah, I've been in jail. What for? You were a political prisoner, or we can't give you a job. So he couldn't get. He was doing things under the ground and all that. So my mother and I were trying to, I was getting a little job, something to help out. In 1980, there was a big upheaval in Havana. There was a bus, people trying to escape. That's another one. You can't leave the country. You have to get permission from the government to leave the country. Okay? So you have to go to the local communist leader and tell them, I want to leave the country. So they ask you all kinds of things and fill paperwork. So when my father came out in 1978, he was doing paperwork to get out. Now we went to the American Embassy and they knew who he was. Right away we had visas. My mother, my father, my brother, myself, and my grandmother. But then we had to get permission to get from Cuba out of it. And if you know anything about visas have a limited time. So only have expiration dates. So by 1980, we were getting close to like, oh, this is gonna end up. And that's when the Mariel happened, Mariel Bolt, 1980. So, okay, they said, whoever wants to leave, you can leave, but if you gotta leave with just the clothes you had on. So we said, I think we go. So my mother's looking at, I'm dying with asthma. My brother has an infection in his feet. My father can't get a job. There's nothing we can do. So we went to a local communist place and we told them we're gonna leave. And that's it. So they came into the house. They looked at everything. They made an inventory of literally all the furniture, the clothes, the jewelry, everything they had in there. And they said, you're going to leave in 2 weeks, we're going to come back. If there's anything missing, you can't leave the country. So we waited for the 2 weeks. The 2 weeks came, they came in, they had a list, the milicianos, guys in uniforms, they checked the whole house, the drawers and everything, everything is here. So we went, they took us to a boat, and we came over. 14 hours on the side of the boat, bombing. My father had me by the belt, and I was on the side, bombing. Inside the boat, and I'm sorry you guys are eating here. There were people getting sick too, so it was hard. But we made it over here. We actually were lucky because another part of my family also left, but their boat broke down in the ocean, so they were there for 3 days bombing around and all that stuff. When we were coming over, now, before, we came over and I was living there, my father had his whole life magazines. And that was my view to America. Because anything American was illegal, including music and movies. We had a shortwave radio that I used to get into a closet because if you got caught listening to American music, you go to jail. So there was a Key West station that I would sit on inside the closet and just close my eyes and dream about living in this place. And put it together with some of the pictures that I saw in the five magazines from 1950s. The beautiful house in the woods, the snow, the life. While outside, you were restricted even with food. The food we have here, they give you a little book of rations. You're only entitled for so much meat, so much bread, and everything a month. If you exceed that, you can't have it. Okay? Milk is only allowed to children after 7 years old. After that, they cut off the milk box. The education system, for example, is once you graduate high school, even though you have A school, A grades and all that, is whatever the government needs. One of my cousins, she could have been a doctor. She had grades to be a doctor, but that year they needed pharmaceutical specialists, so guess what she had to study? Pharmaceutical specialist. And forever lost a chance to be a doctor. That's the system over there. Also, you have to be clear by the political party. To be in college, you have to be a member of the political communist youth. You cannot just go to college. So if you have something in your background, like I had, I would have never been able to go to the university over there because my father was a political prisoner. And they only have so much money to pay for a certain age window. Once you go over that age window, you don't get to go to college to become a worker for the rest of your life. That's communism. That's what these leftists over here are all in love with. So I tell them, what are you doing? You're curtailing the freedom of speech. Like over here, like you did over there. You're doing the same thing here and standing for the same principles. The big government controls your life because they know better than you what you want. You don't know what you want, they do. No, this is America. This is a land of freedom, the land of liberty. You have the opportunity to pursue what God has given you, the gift that He's given you. Okay? Not the government, not being government. And that's what we need to then start looking at these people and telling them, you're exactly that because this and this and this and this. And start exposing who they are, because now there are a lot of them are right out coming out. The lady from Black Lives Matter, the co-founder, she literally came out and said, I'm a Marxist-Leninist. You can look it up. Okay? You got people in New York City going, abolish capitalism, bring socialism, with a picture of Che Guevara on it. Hello? America is not about a group of people, no, it's a set of values that makes us American. That's what makes America here. It's world government, the Constitution, capitalism, freedom, liberty. You know, those are the things that make America. If you're against that, you're not American. I don't care if you were born here, whatever you call yourself, you're not American. That's what we need to tell people. Then, for example, we got here in 1980. To start all over again. Now we landed in the Spanish ghetto, Cuban ghetto, everything is Spanish. And the school system that put me in was called ESL, English Second Language, which is a mistake. I say there shouldn't be a special treatment for anybody in here. Put him like, for that first year, English. To make him American, teach him the Constitution, teach him the values of this country. Don't keep them separate. That's what the leftists, they love to do that, because that way they can separate people into groups. Exactly. And lie to them about what they should want in life and not what this country is really about. And why is that such a great thing? Because it gives you the ability to pursue your life. Okay? That's what we need to do. So anyway, I was over there, and I was seeing, my brother and I bought this beat up little car, and we used to go to the American theaters. And see all the people running around with nice clothes, and we were like, we want that. Right? It's like, well, we can do something. We can get out of here somehow. Now, my grades were horrible because my English was terrible. So my college was out of the question. I tried a little bit, and my grades went to the toilet. So I was like, okay, I gotta do something else. So the Navy. So I went to the Navy, I took a test, because my scores, math and all that. You can be a nuclear engineer. Wow. So in 1987, I joined the Navy. I was first a sonar tech, and then I got frustrated with things and volunteered for the nuclear submarine force. I served 2 decades. I was from 1987 to 1999. 1999 was a little upset because the Clinton years. That's when the leftist thing started. And the politics went into the military, and they were cutting the military down to nothing. They were actually giving people a month to get out, and they were so early out. So my divisions became all the way up to first class to the office and all that. My divisions started cutting down to like 10 people, 8 people, 7 people, and they were giving us slogans, do more with less, you can do more. Meantime, there's repairs thing going on, and I rode one submarine for 4 years, then I went to shore duty, became an engineer, master, mechanic, and everything. Then I went to a submarine tender in Italy. I was in Europe for 2 years, and I was getting upset because we were working 10, 12, 14 hours trying to get those boats. At the same time that we were getting attacked. I don't know if you guys remember, Al-Qaeda 9/11, that was not the first attack. The first attack was in 1993, when they put the bomb in under the buildings. And Al-Qaeda declared war on the United States. And we were screaming to Washington, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, the Soviet Union collapsed, but we were at war with these guys. So then they kept hitting us. The bombings in the embassies in Africa, the barracks in Saudi Arabia. And then the one that really did it for me was the USS Cole. It killed 17 sailors over there, one of my brothers and sisters. So I said, I'm walking away. Then they froze. You couldn't, I'm 86, I couldn't make E7. They froze. The multiple should go up, couldn't go. Couldn't get go up and rank. So I said, you know what? I'm out of here. Well, you can't leave. You got 5 minutes easily. You're the one that hit the engineer for all this stuff and all. Like, watch. Because we're going to get hit. It's not going to be on my watch. We've been telling you what you need to do. So I stepped out of the military, started working out here, came out here, nobody knew who I was. I started working as a technician, then supervisor, manager, worked my way up. And then I get a phone call. Nobody, we need you. So I went back in the actor reserve, teaching at some basic ground in Connecticut, and managing the attack centers in the time 2009. Meantime, I worked my way up through, and now I was heading to the missile floor and over here in So, America is a great country, and it's a land of opportunity. But we need to preserve it. We need to save it against those people that want to turn this into feudal. We have to fight against the socialists and communists that are still some of them hiding who they really are. But what we need to do is put two columns and show what they stand for, and what Marxism, Leninism is. And like my grandma used to say, if you walk for the doctrine, you walk for the doctrine, look for the doctrine. Okay? So if you stand for those things, that is what Marxism, Leninism is, you're a Marxist. Expose them for who they are. Don't let them hide anymore about equality and all. And by the way, the United States is not equality. It's equal opportunity. Again, the freedom to you pursue your life and follow your dream and your abilities. Not to make everybody force equal. That's communism. That's what we need to do. And that's I'm in the fight. I love Cox and I love you guys. Go get it. You gotta support me. Whatever I can do to help you in speech and all that, and we need to expose this leftist for who they really are. I believe in this, the country, we're talking about faith, family, and freedom. One of the things is the leftists have attacked the family in this country. Because if you have a strong family, you can't tear a country apart. So they are literally going after all the values that make people successful, especially when they come from strong families. That are following Joshua and following the Bible and following the moral and decency laws of this meeting in society is work. The gun law, the gun problems. That's an effect. The problem is people that don't respect life. They don't have the decency and the morals and the honor to do the right thing. And then they blame the system. Well, people here like I came with just a full head on and I'm an engineer. My wife and I have a nice property over there by C&D Canal, and we did it. We came out of the deal. So, it's actually some of those messages have been said out there. I watched some of the leftists to see what they're saying. But one of them, Morgan Freeman, he actually said, just courage is an important thing in life. And don't be blaming slavery, blaming anything else and all that. What are you doing to get out of the hole you're in? If you live in a better world, the bus runs every day. Take a ticket, get the hell out of it. They stay in the little thing. Those values are not the values of the crime and the gangs and the alcohol and the drugs and all that. That's not the values going to get you ahead. The values going to get you ahead is being decent, into work. You're going to get roadblocks. You're going to get stuff that's going to get in your life. But like my wife and I, we had a rough for the last 20 years. But you get a roadblock, get around it. Get a roadblock, get around it. Figure out how to ways to get over the problem you have. Don't go to crime. Improve yourself. I say we're always learning. We're going to learn until the day we die. The last lesson is going to be, this is what death is. Okay? But you are learning every day here. And every life is a test from God. Everything's being recorded, like I said. By your days will be done. We're all being recorded what we're doing. And that's what's so important to stand for what is right. Because our book is going to be read when we get there. And they're going to go, ooh, look at you. You're going to stand for that. And you didn't. And the country's going to get lost if you don't stand and fight for it. So, thank you.
Mrs. Padron was here, my Spanish teacher. Hola, Mrs. Padron. Thank you so much, Luis. Muchas gracias. Yeah. for people who want to see some things that are happening in Cuba, in addition to Selling Cuba, I think is the documentary. Who's familiar with Benny Johnson? Benny Johnson of Turning Point USA? Nobody? Okay, please write this down, okay? He has a very short documentary called Everything You Know About Cuba is a Lie. And he goes to Cuba with a couple guys and he shows this is exactly what's going on in Cuba. And I think about they have a whole thing of orange marmalade because this is what the state produced. That's all there is, like orange marmalade. They have no meat. Anyway, it's really worth seeing. He's very entertaining, but it's very, very telling, unfortunately, about what's going on in Cuba. Something else to take a note of is something that what Luis was talking about in terms of the people from Black Lives Matter. You can learn a lot about some of these people at a website that Daniel Horowitz created called discoverthenetworks.org. You can do your little research and find out who's a Marxist and who they're connected to. It really will help you as you're talking to other people to know who is who. So it's discoverthenetworks.org. So without further ado, I would like to invite Daniel Feng to come up. Daniel is a wonderful person who has helped organize so much of the great efforts in our state and also in Virginia. Daniel is the chairman of, now I'm still wanting to know about this, it's CARVA, but is there an A for the second R? It's the chairman of the Chinese Republican Virginia Association. Is there an A in here, like CAR? What is it? Chinese American. So please, without further ado, please welcome Daniel Feng.
Yes, I'm from Virginia. Today we have about 20 people from Virginia sitting at different tables. Jackie and Tony and Mrs. Van Vliet and Mrs. Cooper. Since 2016, many of the patrons from Maryland went to Virginia year after year to help us run campaigns for President Trump, for our senatorial candidates, for Governor Yankee, so on and so forth. We owe you a lot. So it's only fair and natural and honorable today for our Virginians to come here to support what you are doing. Over 15 years ago, I was invited to a gathering much larger than this, several hundred people, probably 1,000, large auditorium, to listen to a wealthy, successful businessman, billionaire, not about politics, has nothing to do with politics, elections whatsoever. He was supposed to talk about how to run a successful business, how to reach $1 billion, so on and so forth. The minute he stepped up to the stage, the crowd would go wild, and people so excited. And I was in the crowd, I immediately yelled out, "Jesus Christ, this guy should be the president!" And sure enough, later he did become the president, and his name is Donald Trump. Sure enough, just a month ago, that's May 2022, I met another person. And I was in a large parking lot, indoor parking lot in Montgomery, trying to take a meeting, trying to find my way out. I saw a group of people walking by just about 20-30 yards away. And one of them, a very handsome gentleman, looks nothing but gubernatorial. And he reminded me of everything about a governor. And so what I did what I normally do, I waved to him and I said, "Hey, you must be Dan Cox." "Yes, I am." And I said, "Well, we haven't met before, but I saw your picture on your website, so on and so forth." So the guy sits right here today. So tonight, all of us here have seen it with our own eyes that Mr. Cox walk like a governor, talk like a governor, think like a governor, act like a governor, and with our help, he will be the next governor of this great state of Maryland. In the next couple of months, and we either we do it ourselves, and we do it ourselves, or ask everybody you know in the state of Maryland to do the same thing. Two things. Number one, before June the 28th, you go to register yourself as a Republican. June the 28th, and then number two, on or before July the 19th, you go there to vote for Dan Cox as the governor of Maryland. So remember, just repeat this to help you to memorize. So on which day should we register ourselves? June 28th. And register ourselves as Republican. And then on or before which day should we vote? July the 19th. Remember that. Thank you very much. And God bless you. God bless America. God bless Maryland. Great state of Maryland. Go Cox, go!
Yeah, I could have done that better myself. I tell you what, that's so amazing. Daniel is amazing. And I was there that day when he saw Dan, and it was kind of funny because he was like, so anyway, I do want to tell you that on the door over here, there are some voter registration forms. Okay, and what are they doing on the door? Well, we taped them to the door, so if you want to take a picture of them, you can, if you need to take 4 pictures, because I taped 4 of the pages together, so that if you have friends that speak or write in traditional Chinese, or simplified Chinese, or Spanish, or English, you can take pictures of those voter registration forms and then send them via text to your friends that may not be registered to vote or may want to change their party affiliation, okay? So again, do that by June, what? 28th, okay? And when is the actual day of the primary? Okay, good. When is early voting?
July 7th.
Yeah, July 7th through the 14th. And how many early voting stations are there? How many early voting centers are there in Montgomery County?
14.
Yeah, all right. And how many days do we need people at every early voting center? We need everyone staffed. To do what? For what?
Vote for Dan Cox.
Vote for Dan Cox and send and pass out his flyers. Okay, it's really, really easy. All you have to do is say, hey, vote for my candidate, all right? I learned this from the Leadership Institute. In fact, leadershipinstitute.org is a great resource, and they say people will be willing to hear what you have to say. Just say, hey, would you consider voting for my candidate? All right? And we've got a great candidate. So, nonetheless, we also have some other great Virginia people in the house. And I tell you, when I found out these 2 ladies were going to come, I was like, oh, yes. So, but the first one I want to say is G. Van Fleet. And when I first saw her video, I was like, yes, go to it, go to it. So the Mama Bears in Loudoun County. Who knows about the Mama Bears in Loudoun County? Raise your hand. Okay. The Mama Bears in Loudoun County, they stood up against the pornographic stuff that is in the schools in Loudoun County, as well as critical race theory. And our next guest had an incredible impact on these people. And I'm very grateful that she had the courage to come and do that in Loudoun County. And may she and the other Mama Bears do that and continue to resonate with us, because right now we're dealing with it in Montgomery more than we know. So without further ado, let's welcome G. Van Fleet.
Thank you. I just want to correct. We are not mommy bears. We are mommy grizzly bears. My name is Xi Banfeng. I'm from neighboring Virginia and originally from China. I'm so glad to be part of this great event and to see so many supporters and so many Chinese patriots. This is great. Chinese immigrants typically are not politically active. We're usually quiet because from early age we were taught the Chinese wisdom. The bird that sticks out its head out gets shot first. Okay, so that's what I did. Coming in America since 1966. I worked hard, I mind my business, and stay quiet. But in 2020, I decided I cannot no longer stay quiet. Why? Because I see that communism started to take roots in America. And I see the cultural revolution that I experienced as a young girl is being played out right in front of our eyes. This is the reason I decided to speak up. And this is the reason that so many Chinese immigrants are getting involved. And they are here today. America is our home. We would not allow communism to take over our home again. This midterm election is of historical importance. This race is no longer between Democrats and Republicans. This race is between American values, principles, and Marxist ideologies. That's why we are here to support Dan Cox, because he will restore the Constitution, protection of all citizens of Maryland, because they are all essential. Dan will ban the Marxist CRT from Maryland schools. He will give Marylanders school choice. He will support the law enforcement, and he will cut taxes. He is what Maryland needs. He is what America needs. Last year, we sent Youngkin to Richmond. This year, we'll send Dan Cox to Annapolis as governor of this great state of Maryland.
Amen. I'd like to invite Dr. Augusta to come and share with us some of his story and what is on his heart. No, okay, sorry. You can't hear me. Okay, so without further ado, we also have another Mama Grizzly here. Yeah, come on up, Chantal Cooper! What up, Chantal? Okay, so I did not know some of the people who were doing other programs, so I was just, going, looking, I know that name, looked it up, and that was the person that I saw. And I was so, again, also just like she, I was like, yes, thank you, God, for Grizzly Mama Bears speaking out against this truth. And the last line, I'm probably not going to get it right, but of what you said in the clip was something about, this won't be the last meet and greet. I say that respectfully. You know what? She's doing a meet and greet right here with you, and she'll be respectful. And you know what? May God continue to raise her and other people up. So Chantal, come on.
Hello, my name is Chantal Cooper. I had the honor of meeting Chief on Fleet the day she spoke at the school board meeting. She was the light guiding Loudoun County, Virginia, through darkness. When she eventually mentioned she was coming to Maryland, I wanted to support, because I'm originally from Maryland. I'm born and raised in Maryland. I've watched my hometown literally destroy itself. My family and I decided to move to Virginia to, pursue a safer environment. Well, that's what we thought. I'm sure, as you all have noticed, Virginia and many other states are, they're in the front line fighting for our children. Ensuring school boards are held accountable to parents and teachers. Sad to say that it's not the only issue that's going on in America that we're facing today. But I do encourage each and every one of you to ask Mr. Dan Cox honest questions, even the hard ones that you might feel timid about asking. Because some of the questions that I asked my governor, just a few, it was important to find out what his stance was on critical race theory. Questioning how will he hold the local government accountable? How are you going to lower the crime rate? And how will they bring people together? Because unity is number one, love. And developing more love, the opposite of what the left is doing. This is why I feel Mr. Cox will be a great leader and unite Maryland through faith, family, and freedom. When you see corruption being rewarded and honesty becoming a self-sacrifice, it's time for Americans to stand together. When I spoke up at the local school board, I promised my family and Americans that I will die on this hill to protect our children. So we're going to do a little exercise, get you guys out your comfort zone. If I can have all the men stand up. And on the count of 3, I want you to say freedom, because this is what we're fighting for. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Freedom! Now can I have all the ladies join in? And on the count of 3, we're going to say freedom. 1, 2, 3. Freedom! All right, Maryland, remember, God is with us and with you.
If God is for us, who can be against us? So my next opportunity to introduce someone is Sean, who is the president of GOP AAA. And I would like to have Sean come up. Here's Sean. Thank you so much. We're very delighted to have you here. Please give a warm welcome to Sean.
I am not politician, I am not speaker, so I just I am Sean Lee, and the president of GOP.
Put it up in your mouth.
Asian American Association. Again, before my speak, I ask you to think about one question of gun control, because me talk about a lot of gun control. Just case in here, in 2012, the biggest American elementary school killing is under Obama. In 2022, the second largest elementary school killing is under Biden. Think about why the big killings under the Democratic president. And also think about why in 2009, President Obama has any authority to approve any law, because they control majority of Senate. They control majority of Congress. So they can approve any law to do the gun control. But they did not do that. Think about the law. They can approve any law without Republican support. So gun control is a game. is prohibited gay. Democrats don't like the poor, the gun control. So right now, I'm not the, like I said, I'm not a good politician. I fought my first vote in 2015 because I'm so angry about Obama and Democrats. And there's so many more, so many processes that destroy our country. So that time Donald Trump came out, only 1 or 3% chance. So we're working really hard and to support him. And so we go to Pennsylvania, we go to Virginia, our Maryland. And because there are battleground states, they need to win for the Donald Trump. So due to our outstanding contribution, we win Pennsylvania. So our achievement was recognized by Trump Innovation Committee. So our group received many VIP tickets to attend Donald Trump inauguration, including the main concert, swearing ceremony, and freedom ball for the dance with Donald Trump. We also got recognition from the Pennsylvania State GOP Convention. We also got recognition from Virginia GOP to recognize our contribution. Like Daniel said, we working really hard. Today I introduce one name, one terminology for that. What the terminology that one when people here, we have a house to stay, but politically we are home. Politically we are home. Why? Because our world is censor, control, and delete. We cannot say what we like to say. So politically, we are minority people is home. So we need to fight back to get our voice back. So in Maryland, we're also working really hard. In addition to support the neighbor state, we're also working really hard to control the fundraising for our candidate and also fight all kinds of bad deals, like a sanctions state deal, marijuana deal, all kinds of deals. I remember we had a first group picture with me of the sanctions state deal in 2017. We stayed here until about 1 a.m. to fight back. We have 40 people there to fight. So our contribution also recognized by Maryland State GOP leader and Montgomery County GOP leader. So we recognize our contribution. The NC GOP has decided to reestablish the Lunar New Year celebration. That is 40 years ago when President Reagan was there. We have a Lunar New Year celebration, but after that one is discontinued. So in late 2017, early 2018, NCGOP decided to recognize our contribution, so have a Lunar New Year celebration. So I was one of the 3 people who played the first celebration. So we have many restaurants. In the end, we decided to choose this restaurant for our celebration. So since then, all GOP activity, a candidate, and also the NCGOP annually Lunar New Year celebration are held here. So regarding that, I feel you have a lot of agenda here. And I have one agenda, one question for you. So right now, the delegate is 8% or 75% controlled by Democrats. regardless you are governor or not. In order to apply for your bill or executive order, you have to control the ratio of the vote of the delegate. You cannot get less than 80% of the delegate. So you will have to have a bill to control. Each party cannot exceed 30%. If one party exceeds 30%, this state is going to die. We have noticed the one since I moved to Maryland, the Montgomery County is very good example. It's dying registration. It's dying registration. I joined there 2 years ago. I'm very proud of that one because in terms of the income and the school rating, Montgomery County is top 10. Right now, no school is ranking in the top 100. So it's done. And also, just if you drive around in the evening in 495, you will see big difference. Virginia is a city, Maryland is a farm. It's a very big difference. 20 years ago, we are safe. Right now, we are much behind. It's shame in Maryland, shame in Montgomery County. And lastly, I like to also support Neil because we need Neil to win to take out national position. That is the one I hope everybody can support him because ninth place is the worst. We definitely need Neil to win to take out national Nextly, Jenny. For people living in Gaithersburg and Damascus, I like you to support and vote for my friend, Jenny. We need to get more seats of GOP in state delegate. Thank you.
It's really great to see so many great candidates that are running this time. Like Jenny in 9A, which is part of Montgomery County now. It's Howard and part of Montgomery. So just to think, if you've ever had a desire to run for office, don't just bury that. Talk to somebody. There are people that would be very happy to help you develop those skills so that you can run for office. And the Leadership Institute, leadershipinstitute.org is a great place to start. So next I would like to invite, I'm going to not pronounce her name wrong, Jen Wang. And she's been in the biomedical field for many years, if I can say 20. And she is going to present some of this, I think in both English and Chinese, is that correct? Yes? Yes, come on up. Yeah, come on up. Yes, give her a warm welcome.
Hello everyone, my name is Chen Wang. 2 days ago, she told me, how about go to say something up to maximum 3 minutes. And English says, oh yes, without even thinking about it. In my mind, I just thought that it would be like what we did in Virginia. To have a very casual talk, even talking in Chinese. And then until the midnight of last night, I realized, it's going to be somehow formal speak. I said, this is what I'm going to speak. I don't have time, and I was told to be somehow some kind of representative American and voters. Oh, gee, I don't have time to ask the people, my friends, what they want me to say. And so I asked God, I said, what do you think? Please tell me what I'm supposed to say. And finally I got some idea. Anyway, actually, in the politics, I'm sort of I'm very sorry, I don't know how to translate in English. But what I want to in the 2020 participated in the mega movement. So this thing and sense the country was going to the wrong direction. So that's why I was involved. And at that time, we didn't feel, we didn't even think about our men have some hope. So we went to the states, not far from us, but 3 states, to help for the President Trump. That is where I started from. So, what I want to say, I think I want to say, we are very lucky because that is the Dan Cox. But we are not here for I'm sorry. We are here for our passion. We love this country. We love Maryland. We want her back to the states of why we came to make it our homeland. I believe the same passion drives Dan Cox and David near the road, and also Jamie. They stand out to fight, not just for themselves, but also for all of us as well. Thank you, Virginia friends, to help us to turn the color of Maryland like you did last year in Virginia. So, our dear grassroots friends, do not underestimate our actions. Each of our activities is a moment. Each moment contributes to the movement, state by state. In USA, returns to the foundation, written in the Declaration of Independence and Constitution. We are proud of being a part of this movement. We are grassroots, not rich in money, but we have votes. The most precious resource in elections. When their money cannot buy votes, money is meaningless. It has been proven to be true in the last year's Virginia general election and just finished the primary in Pennsylvania. This is also the same. As grassroots, we, the people, have lost manpower. That is much more powerful than money. So friends, let's roll out our resolve. Do our best. Spread the message. Reach out to friends, to whoever you can reach out. I always encourage all of us, encourage your friends, reach out to their friends. If we're all doing this, we are sure victory is ours. May God bless America. God bless America. Also, may God help us to elect Dr. Dan Cox. And also other God-fearing government officers in next neighbors. Also in counties. So we may lead peaceful and quiet lives with liberty, prosperity, and opportunity. Thank you all.
Okay, that reminds me, I'll be brief here. But loving our neighbor as ourselves means if you think you don't want to live under communism, do you want your neighbor to live under communism? No. So what do you want to do about it? Seriously, what do you want to do? It's not just a matter of, okay, I'm going to get somebody to vote. I mean, maybe it would be like you might want to educate them. You know, do you really want to live under this? And yet, at the same time, most of the people in this country and in this state are sort of asleep. But may God give you the right contacts and the people, and have faith to do that, and give you courage. So I'd like to call up somebody who's not normally on the schedule here, but I'm going to call up Mr. Wu, who is a veteran, who is from Montgomery County. And if you would come up, he is a veteran and he's a business owner. If you would come on up. There you go. Steve, come on. Yeah. Come on up. I was forgetting the first name. You're on The Price is Right. Oh, wouldn't that be so much fun to do that? Price is Right. I think he's a business owner, right? Where are you from?
From Clarksburg.
Okay, good. I'm going to pretend I'm not Bob Barker.
I have no idea why I'm not here. I don't know why I should speak, but I believe in one thing. Everything happens for purpose. So if somebody call me up here, there got to be a reason for me to go up here. So I didn't prepare for anything. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about, but I will just talk. So again, my name is Alan Wu. I live in Clarksburg. Okay, so I just stopped. Okay, so I came to the United States when I was really little. Just like this gentleman right here came to the United States with a little bit, but not a whole lot. But I remember one thing. My father always told me that Alan, Rex, and Jack, we have 3 brothers. They're saying that we came from, my father, came from China, came from the communist country. The reason that I came to the United States because of the 3 of you. And the 3 of you come to the United States not because of you. It's because whatever you have today is not because of me as your father. I brought you up here, but however, you are living in the United States of America. This country gave you a lot of stuff that I cannot provide to you. So the 3 of you, you better remember, when you grow up, you need to serve this country. I have no idea what serving means, but the only thing that I know how to serve is to join the military. So, I went to High Point High School. Graduated from High School, and everybody told me that, hey, Alan, why don't you get an engineering degree, which I love, and get a stable job, and you'll be fine. And I said, well, that's fine, but I don't like that. Let me apply for Naval Academy, which I did. I applied for Naval Academy, and I still remember at that time was Governor Shaver, who wrote me the recommendation letter. I have the SAT score, I have the recommendation letter, I got everything that I have under the sun to go to Naval Academy, except only one thing, and one thing only, I was not a citizen. And I went there, they told me that, hey Alan, I'm sorry, I love you, you can come to Academy after you get a citizenship, which is 2 years down the road. And I said, fine. So, what happened? So I said, well, if I went to University of Maryland, College Park, and get my degrees and get my credit, can I transfer into the academy? They say that unfortunately no, you have to start everything over again. I say screw it, I'm not going to do that. I am going to Maryland and I get my degrees. And I got my degrees in mechanical engineering and I graduated and I worked for a company called Lockheed Martin. You know what? My boss Everything happened for a purpose. I worked for that company, and my boss was a naval aviator. He was a Top Gun pilot. So I still remember. How many of you watched Top Gun? I still remember when I watched Top Gun 1. I was actually in high school, just graduated, and I was sitting in the auditorium. Top Gun 1 came out. And man, I looked at that thing. I love the airplane. I love the Navy. And you know what I love the most? That white uniform, and especially have bars on the shoulder. And I said, one day I'm going to put on that uniform. So anyway, I put the dream into my heart that I need to become a naval officer. Hey, Naval Academy cannot take me at that time. I totally respect that. That's fine. I went to the University of Maryland, College Park, and I worked for Lockheed Martin, and I run into a top 10 boss. And you know what he told me every single day? He said, Alan, you need to join the Navy. Alan, you need to join the Navy. Alan, why the hell are you here working for Lockheed Martin? You gotta join the Navy. I say, Ron, okay, I quit. So I quit one day, and I applied for OCS, Officer Candidate School. And long story short, I got into OCS September 4th, 2001. Don't clap. September 4th, 2001. What happened 1 week later? September 11th. I was actually in OCS. In my first week in OCS, and we were running, and all of a sudden, everybody was running into the auditorium. You know, in maybe boot camp, you cannot just run around like that, right? But we all ran inside the auditorium like 10 times the size of this auditorium right here. And everybody was watching the screen. And when we walked in and we saw the screen, and one tower was already hit and with fire, with smoke. And we were looking at that screen right there and said, what's going on up there? What's happening? Is there a movie up there whatsoever? But boom, the second one hit, boom. The entire room silent. All the way back, in the back of the corner, somebody said it slowly. We are all going to war. And we all went. Thank you for your service, sir. Thank you for your service. How many of you are here in the military? Thank you for your service. And the people, we fought for the freedom of the United States. And that is the time that I realized why freedom is not free. It is true, freedom is not free. I saw my buddies dying in the battlefield. I saw my sea daddy. I was a Lieutenant JG at that time. I was with USS Baton, LHD 5. The first time I could be deployed in the Marine. The second time I was on DDG 79 Oscar Austin. I saw my sea daddy got blown to, he still survived, but he's all over the place right now. I see my sea buddies got injured, and it's all over the place. But we ask ourselves, is it worth it? Absolutely it's worth it. It's because freedom, in order for us to have freedom, people that served this country gave up their freedom so that you and I can have freedom. Freedom of what? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press, and also freedom to burn the flag. Freedom to put the Bible on the floor. Freedom to say, I'm a man, but I can be a woman tomorrow. But unfortunately, that is the side effect of we fighting for freedom. But we have to fight for it. Because freedom is God given to us. It's not this government given to us. You want to become whoever you want to become is your choice. The government is not supposed to tell you what you can do, what you cannot do. And the world is changing. Absolutely is changing. And many of us do not like that, which is you and I in this room. And I believe we all share in one thing in common. We all have that core value deep buried inside of our heart that God put in your heart. The seed is growing. Otherwise, you wouldn't read that rap. Otherwise, you wouldn't come here tonight. Otherwise, you wouldn't yell. Otherwise, you wouldn't have all these emotions out there fighting. for whatever freedom that you think is worth it to you. I don't know. Somebody just called me up saying that, hey, June 10th, there's a dinner out there. Why don't you come? I come. I don't know why you want me to come up here to talk, but I'm up here. But hopefully, my message to you is that we, every single one of us, military or not military, we fight for the freedom for this country so that citizens of this country have the freedom to do whatever they wanted to do. But yet at the same time, you and I are also the frontier. You and I are also the warrior to fight for the freedom for your family, for your future, for your children, for your belief. You have to fight together with us, with Dan Cox right here, with you in the back, with Jenny right here. These are our leaders. When we're in the military, I love one thing. Military men, we take orders. And I still remember when I was a little infant, walk into that room, I see my skipper come on in here saying that whole bunch of officers right there, right? Talking about all the problems, the mass, a whole bunch of problems with their ship. The skipper come in saying that, hey, guys, don't tell me the pain. Give me the baby. You walk out. It's true. We all have our problems. But don't tell me the pain. Give me the baby. Who's the baby? Tonight, baby, is Dan Cox. We need to put him on the floor. He's the baby. He needs to deliver. He needs us. We need to support him. He is the baby. So don't tell me the pain. Give us the baby! Thank you very much.
Now I know why, because you're supposed to be running for something, Alan, at some point. The Leadership Institute, you probably don't need to go through it, but feel free to check it out. We'll be talking to you. And Dan has a baby face, don't you think? So we have a baby and we have a baby face guy. My husband always says, I want to look older. I'm like, no, you don't really want to look older. So anyway, I do want to let you know that we do have time for Q&A with Dan, so don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. You can't go to the bathroom, but you can just come back. I also want to let you know that we have signs. We have a lot of Dan Cox for Governor signs. We have a lot of great literature on your tables. We have places for you to... there is one more person who's going to come talk and we're going to do some Q&A, but I want to make sure I don't forget. If you want to sign up to help us with anything relating to Dan Cox and the Cox campaign, we have sign-up sheets right over there. So you can contact us at pam4moco@aol.com. So next I have San Shi with Cast, and I love their shirts. Turn around and let me see your shirt. Actually, let me see what it says on the back. Take it easy on the back here. It says Concerned Americans. Serving truth. Amen. Amen. You know what? Because if you serve a lie, it's not going to go well for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you. A lot of them they're so humble. They said, I don't know what I'm here for, but I know. But I know they know it. So good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for inviting us, and also I want all the people who wear dress, wear the red shirt, can you stand up? We are from the group. We are all here to support Dan Cox. Thank you very much. 23 years ago, I fled from communist country to this land of free. I think you probably already teased a little bit about what is communism, right? I came here for a purpose. I love this country dearly. However, until 2020 in November, something happened. And suddenly, I don't know the America I loved before. Where is the country I knew before? The light on the hill, the land of the free, the home of free. Where is the America? The most powerful country in the world with the most respected military.